A proposed county ordinance aims to prevent minors from accessing alcohol in hotel rooms. It would require written acknowledgement by an adult to oversee any alcohol in a hotel room. Resort hotels would no longer control the access to locked cabinets or refrigerators. If an adult declines or only minors are staying in the room, the alcohol would have to be removed from the room. The proposed changes would also apply to private viewing areas. County commissioners will discuss the ordinance on July 1st.